cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Today's episode is brought to you by ETB Games. ETB Games is, of course, our locals in Alexandria, Louisiana. They are our one-stop shop for all of our card game needs. They have singles and sealed product for the games that you love, like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon. Of course, you can also find the accessories that you need, such as sleeves, binders, playmats, and more. And if you're into D&D, well, they have all of your D&D figurines, the paint for the figurines, dice, books, and anything that you would need to play. So be sure to check out ETB Games. There's a link in the description down below. And now, back to today's episode. What's good, duelists? Hey everybody, welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name is Sunny. I'm here with my co-host Caleb.
Hello.
And of course, before we get too far, we want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors. So a huge thank you, of course, to ETB Games. We want to send out a particularly huge shout out to Steelfox Games in Shreveport. Steelfox, of course, is currently being run. The Yu-Gi-Oh side of it is all being run by Calvin from Team APS, and Calvin. Well, if you notice an insane bump in quality on our video, a huge thank you to Calvin because he has hooked us up with a really sweet Canon camera with the appropriate lenses and everything, and I mean all kinds of equipment. So there should be an insane bump in quality for the podcast moving forward on the video side, and hopefully this is the start of us doing more video of a higher quality and things of that sort. So huge shout out to Steelfox Games and Calvin specifically. With that said, let's go ahead and we also want to thank Gem Accessories as well as Millennium Threads. And of course, we want to go ahead and get you to check out our Dragon Shield affiliate link in the description down below. Now, with all of that said, huge thank you to our patrons. And let's go ahead and get on into today's episode.
Heck yeah.
So we want to go ahead and talk a little bit about, well, a lot. We're going to talk almost exclusively about the regional that we attended this past weekend in Houston, Texas. This regional was hosted by the Game Guys in Houston. It was in the Alameda Mall in Houston. If you have the chance, you should absolutely check out Game Guys. They have a wonderful venue. We're gonna try to have a vlog up hopefully in the next few days of the event, and I gotta say, it was such a great experience. I got to the last couple of regionals I've been to, I've experienced in very different ways.
Yeah.
From normal. So Caleb went and he played in the event, and we're gonna go through a recap of your tournament. I was not playing in the event. If you listen to the last couple episodes, you might know that I actually was live streaming the event with John Moore from House of Champs. So me and John commentated the event. We watched feature matches all day. Got to see some really great duelists playing some great decks.
Some really cool decks.
Oh,
I heard
extremely cool decks. So let's go ahead and I guess we'll start off with kind of the journey, right?
Sure.
So I get off work Friday night, and I drive home from work, get showered, cleaned up, throw my stuff in my bag, and we leave. We drive from my house all the way to Houston. We get there, I think we had to stop for gas. So
about midnight.
Yeah, we got there basically right at midnight. Had a couple of missed exits here and there, but it's fine, no big deal. So we end up going down to Houston, and we stayed the night Friday night with AD. Shout out AD, Outrun YGO. You can catch him on Twitch. Huge shout out. It was very kind of him. So we stay with AD, hang out, chill, see Da Boy, and then we got up. We went to bed around 1 a.m.
Give or take.
Yeah, get up at 7-ish, 7:30.
Yeah.
Got up, got dressed, went and got Waffle House. Shout out Waffle House. I love Waffle House so much.
Oh yeah, they got good food. My favorite part about Waffle House is that no matter where you're at, if you eat at Waffle House, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Consistency in the food.
Yeah, and I've
service.
had times where it feels like, Waffle House goes quality in one place a little bit different than quality in the other. but that's, overall things are going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Waffle House, then we go to the regional, and this is where the story really begins.
Oh boy.
We get to the regional at 8:30, expecting, realistically, it doesn't start till 10 o'clock. You get there an hour and a half early. That's plenty of time to go register and everything.
Mm-hmm. The line is, so like, the venue, when you walk in the mall, you walk in, and then there's a big open area. Turn right, and then it's like that first store area on the right.
Yeah.
The
on
line
left.
was, on the
Turn
left.
left, and it's on the left.
Yeah. So the line was from the back of that store, out the store, all the way into that central area, and then out the door.
Literally. And how long did you wait in line to get in? Because I was not playing, so I walked right past the line, walked right into the venue, and was able to go to the stream room.
I got up front and was able to finally pay at 9:45.
We got in, so you stood in line for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
Some people had been standing in line for even longer.
Wow.
Because they didn't even open the doors to let people in until like 8.
Right.
8:15. And there have been people there since like 6:30.
That's crazy. Yeah. I can't believe that they waited till 8 o'clock to open the doors.
Hmm?
That kind of shocks me.
There was already like a super long line by the time people who were there at like 8, who were there before 8 got there.
Now, I will say this much. The mall, I don't think even opens until 10. Which is kind of a crazy thought.
Oh yeah, no. They had like special security guards there and stuff.
Right.
Because the mall was open before it should have been.
Right. So they had special security there all day for the event itself, with police and all that, which was honestly pretty nice.
Yeah, because honestly, this was probably a 1,000% increase in the amount of people who were in the mall normally.
Yeah, it wasn't a very big mall.
Yeah, no. And even then, malls are kind of...
Yeah, malls are downsizing.
Shrinking, yeah.
I'll say, though, it was really genuinely...
it was a nice mall, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was fine. It was just like a 90s mall that's been pretty well kept up with,
To be fair, I've only ever been to 2 malls.
Oh, really?
No, 3. 3 total.
Okay.
There was a giant mall we went to on a band trip.
In Dallas, I remember. I went to that one.
Yeah. Then there's the mall in Shreveport I've been to a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Also a fairly nice mall. If
Yeah.
it was a little bit cleaner.
There's 2 malls in Shreveport. One is fine, and the other one's not great.
The one that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
if they would spend a little bit more time cleaning it, it'd actually be really nice. Because in the big open areas, they have skylights.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's a pretty common thing in most malls.
Yeah. But still, it needs to be tied up a little bit. And then this one.
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of malls. So I've been to a couple in New Orleans. I've been to, which they have one in New Orleans that's like crazy nice. Every store in there is like a luxury store.
Oh my god.
Right. So there's like a Tiffany's and everything else in there. It's crazy.
What's Tiffany's?
It's an extremely high-end jewelry store.
Oh. So like a K Jewelers, but like fancy.
Like, imagine if... So, like, just think that, like, K Jewelers is, like, the jewelry store that, like, appeals to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany's is where, like, celebrities go.
Gotcha.
Like, me and my wife were engaged at the time, and we just walked in just to, like, look around.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at and tried on a wedding ring, and she was like, oh, it's so perfect. I want it so bad. And then the guy was like, yeah, it's only $150,000. And we were like,
oh, boy.
It's like, it's a great deal. It's $150,000. It was bad. So they have a nice one in New Orleans, and the one in Alexandria is really comparable to the one that we were actually in.
Oh, I've never been to the one in Alexandria.
It's just that the mall in Alexandria is mostly empty.
So it's getting close to just being shut down.
Yeah, well, what they really need to do in a lot of these malls, they need to make rent more affordable and take some of the stores that used to be like a Sears or
like,
a JCPenney.
Yeah, one of those giant store locations where nothing else could possibly hope to fit.
Yeah, they need to take some of those giant locations, and make some of them mixed use housing,
Yeah.
where basically you can take that whole store and you could probably fit, 10 apartments in it.
Yeah, and then like maybe turn some of them into like
A grocery store.
yeah, or even like an auditorium maybe. Not an auditorium, but like just a big open room you can rent out for events and stuff.
Yeah, I think that the best application of a lot of these malls would be if you took basically what is supposed to be a retail storefront. Say you have, a lot of them, it's not uncommon to have, say, around 100, maybe 150 retail storefronts.
Mhm.
If you can take that 150 retail storefronts, size it down to maybe like 60.
And then turn the rest of them into housing and basically make like a little village.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my opinion, that'd be a really good idea, but because then it would give more competition to other like apartment buildings and stuff,
Yeah. Mhm.
which would drive prices down because that's what competition does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah,
Yeah, I think that it would be a really cool way to adapt these, what is really a failing business idea.
I mean, honestly, it was probably before the introduction of like online shopping. It was a great idea. Then online shopping became a thing.
Right, which put stores like Sears and Dillard's and all these other stores, they're just going out of business.
Cause why would I spend $50 on a pair of blue jeans if I can just go online, wait a week, and get the same pair for like $25?
Right. So the idea that somebody can just live in the mall.
Fun fact:
Mm-hmm.
in the late 1800s, I believe, early 1900s, thereabouts,
Mm-hmm.
pre World War One, you could buy a house in a Sears catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right, or like around World War II, post World War II.
Yeah. Because you could buy and the only reason why I know this is because in Red Dead Redemption, the
Mhm.
original, it was Red Dead Redemption 2. Your character actually buys land, then gets a Sears catalog and orders a pre-built house from the Sears catalog, and they deliver all the lumber and stuff pre-cut, and then with instructions on how to put it together.
Yeah. So if you actually Google Sears catalog house, you can actually buy like a 2-story house for like $2,500.
Yeah, but you gotta put it together yourself, obviously.
You literally have to build it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, but like just the fact that was a thing is so interesting to me.
A 10-room colonial home, $6,500, already cut and fitted.
Mhm.
That's a crazy thing to think about.
To be fair, you then have to like assemble it and then get electricians and plumbers in to.
Here's one for $872. No.
Hmm?
You don't do that. No, you build it yourself.
Yeah, you wire up the electricity yourself.
There was no electricity.
Oh, my brain is so fried right now. It was like, oh, they still do that to this day.
No. Well, I
don't-
mean,
I don't know. Why.
more or less, you just go to a place and tell them what you want, basically, and they'll build you a house.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I think that, in my opinion, that would be the best way to adapt these malls. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about.
Yes.
So the mall is a nice mall. I didn't see a ton of vacancies in the mall. There were a few, but not like a boatload.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I believe that really would be like the, I don't know. I think I thought it was a great venue overall. They had a really, really big space in the mall. They adapted it well. They had,
Oh yeah.
all
It
their
was-
singles out and everything like that.
Oh yeah. Like the building we were in was essentially like probably what would you think? Like 2 or 3 stores that they just kind of knocked the walls down in between them and
No, I mean, it was just a big corner
gigantic.
corner space in the mall. I mean, they have some of those that are just big spaces.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, but like
Yeah.
the venue was huge on the inside. I was not expecting it to be that big.
Yeah, I mean, they had tables they had a little over 300 tables
And then like on the way
with
in,
space.
Oh yeah, no, with like a big open area where they had seating, like real comfortable seating for you to sit down and just watch the stream.
Yeah, so they had a feature match platform. Yeah, they had a stage set up where they were doing feature matches with the stream cameras and lighting set up, and they had it broadcast on a giant projector
Behind them.
Right. And with that, they would actually they had theater seating all around the stage, and you could just sit there and watch the match, and it was really, really cool.
So many people just kind of like sat in them, laid back, and just conked out.
Well, so
comfy.
the reason for that, they were very comfortable, and a lot of people did just conk out. But the real reason that so many people were conked out is because everybody got there between 8 and 9 o'clock.
And you had to stand around for like an hour
And
or
then
two.
once you got into the venue, sat down, regional's supposed to start at 10.
Yep.
Pairings went up at like 12:15.
Yup. Round 1 didn't start until like 1.
Yeah, it was like 12:45, 12:50 when the first match actually started. Which is just a crazy thing to think about. 12:45. That is my only spot that was bad all day.
Oh yeah, like after that and everything got rolling, it was fine.
Yeah, for sure. Once things got rolling, it was one of the best run. It was one of the best run regionals I've ever been to, and I've been to some good ones. I mean, the one that the side deck did in Kenner, Louisiana, that basically New Orleans. The one that the side deck did was really great.
Oh yeah.
That one was run like a clock. Pairings went up at 10:01. Last round was done at like just before 5 o'clock on a 7-round regional.
Yep.
That one was great, but this one was really good. So first round started at 12:45, which was very bad. But again, to their credit, so the biggest reason that
that happened,
that it happened, and this is how it was explained to me. They had close to 200 of the 600 players that messed up their Kasi IDs, or it was like over 100 people messed up their Kasi IDs. They had to call all of these people back up individually to fix their Kasi IDs. Once they got their Kasi IDs all fixed, then they had to go in, fix all in the system, and their internet went out.
while they were trying to do this.
While they were trying to do all this. So, internet issues, Kasi ID issues. It was just...
Which was the individual player's fault at that point.
Right, which was a nightmare. So, overall, I think that they did as well as they could have done. It was their first time ever hosting a regional. They want to make it a regular thing where they host regionals every season, which I'm super excited for.
Oh yeah, and like the thing is, like the venue, like as you're walking in on the wall outside, they advertise they do tournaments like every day.
Right.
Not necessarily Yu-Gi-Oh, but they do like random video game and other card game tournaments like every single day.
So, you want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
Do you know what their locals is like?
No.
Their Yu-Gi-Oh locals at that venue is generally over 80 people.
Nice.
They have had locals and case tournaments get over 200.
Nice. That's like a small regional.
Yeah. 80 people is that's like a regional in some places.
Yeah, it's a small regional. But I mean, to be fair, this regional for them was like a YCS, just about.
Yeah, well, I mean, so it was 566, and the way they got to their 600 cap by going through the line, counting, 541, 542, 543, 544, and counting all the people in line, and not everybody in the line
was
actually
there to
registered.
Yeah.
So the cap was 600. They actually didn't have everybody in line register, and then some people left before round 1 started because they were like, I'm not dealing with this all day. I'm not going to be here till 1 a.m. So, with that said, the final tally for the event was 566 players, 44 short of the cap, which they would have hit a cap because they turned some people away because they thought everybody in line was registering and they weren't.
Yeah.
And then so 566, and then the YCS Lima Peru was 600. That was last weekend.
Just for reference.
Yeah. So it is the size of some YCSs. It was a full event. It was a real event. So I'm real happy with it. Like I said, we started at 12:45. There was 10 rounds of Swiss, which is a lot. That's a lot. 10 rounds of Swiss, and we finished last round of Swiss at 11:30.
Yeah. Which, honestly, Like I said, once they got going, everything was running real smooth, which is actually kind of impressive. That they got through 10 rounds of Swiss in 10 hours, give or take.
Yeah.
With a lunch break.
With a 30-minute lunch break. That's really impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Generally, I figure for a 7-round regional, it's going to go like 8 hours because of delays between rounds, lunch break, things like that.
I would say 9 hours because of the lunch break.
7-round regional, 8 hours. 40-minute rounds.
Yes, and then about 20. I normally give about 20 minutes per round between each, so about 1 hour per round.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's me like grossly rounding up because you're gonna have rounds where the round will end and 5 minutes later the next round's up and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But for safety, I like to just say 1 hour per round.
Right. Yeah, I think that genuinely, I really do think that once things got rolling, I think the event staff did a wonderful job.
Mm-hmm.
We got out of the venue about midnight. I recorded a couple of deck profiles, which was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was just... Which the deck profiles are live on the channel right now, so go check out those deck profiles. I got a deck profile from Kobe Short, who is a YCS champion. He got 11th place at the regional, which... Again, it's like a YCS size regional. If you get 11th place there, imagine you could have topped the YCS.
Yep.
So I got Kobe Short's deck profile. That's Kashtira. Some really cool text. You should definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a deck profile of our friend Khalil from Lafayette, who got I think around 25 or something like that, 30, somewhere in that range. And he went 7-1 because last round they should have won. He said he should have won last round. He should have been 8-1-1. Probably would have topped at that.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason he didn't win last round was because the deck did everything it should have, but he was so tired and exhausted.
Yeah.
He just completely whiffed on the last round. He misplayed real hard, he said.
Mm.
And he explains it in his deck profile, which is up on our channel. And the deck was maybe the coolest deck in the room, in my opinion.
Oh, easily. Very memeable.
Runic for hire. That deck is so cool. Do you understand conceptually what the deck does?
Yeah. So I know Runics do a whole lot of. I'm gonna activate all these quick plays, and then I'm just gonna put them all back in the deck, and then and put up to 3 of them back in the deck, and then draw 3 cards.
So
Because
yes. So basically, Runic is going to control the game state.
Yeah.
And it's going to do it in a way where Runic can kind of...
Runic's going to do what Runic's going to do.
Yeah, but it also wants to conserve its own resources and out-resource the opponent, right?
Yeah. With essentially infinite resources, because it can just keep shuffling back its spent quick play spells back in the deck and then drawing new cards.
Yes. Now... The other big card in the deck is Folgo, Justice for Hire, which is their Link 3, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So listen to what Folgo does. Can't be used as Link material. If this card is Link summoned, you can special summon one monster for hire from your deck in defense position, but with a different type from the materials used for this card's Link summon, okay?
Okay.
If a card or cards your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can draw 1 card. Then, if you control 3 or more for hire monsters with different names, draw 2 more. The deck just draws 6 cards every turn.
Yeah.
So you never run out of resources. You have like 8 or 9 cards in your hand all of the time. All the time.
So in phase, hold on, I got to figure out what to discard.
No, you don't, because you just keep doing stuff. Maybe set a card or 2.
Well, no, because they draw during the end phase, don't they?
No, they all draw immediately.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
And then you're running like Mayhem for Hire and Rookie for Hire, which are just spell cards that you can just set.
Fair enough.
No, the deck's insane.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that I got rid of my for hire core.
Yeah. But hey, that also means that you'll also always have access to whatever hand trap, board breaker, side deck card you need. Because you are going to draw it at some point.
Yeah, you're going to see every side deck card and every tech and everything. You can get away with running one of this and one of that because you're going to see them. You're going to deep draw your whole deck.
Yeah, and then eventually, if your opponent somehow not hasn't like had their life points reached to 0 yet, you'll just end a situation of just, yeah, I'm just gonna keep shuffling back my quick play spells over and over and over and over and over until you quit.
Right. I really have to say,
So cool.
I can't stress enough how underrated that for hire deck is. I can't believe I had never heard of this for hire runic deck until this weekend. I can't believe it.
To be fair, it's for hire, and I think a lot of players had the same response that I initially had when I heard, "Oh, it's for hire." That's funny.
Okay, so here's the funny part. Before the event, I talked to Khalil and I said, hey, but I didn't see what he was playing. Well, after round 1, he was upset because he lost round 1. And he said, man, get me a feature. And I said, I just kind of was like, oh yeah, sure. He goes, well, if I win my next 5 rounds and I'm 5-1, he said, let me get a feature. I was like, you know what? Sure. If you win your next 5 rounds,
You'll get the feature match.
You can have that feature match. He comes to me in round 9 going, where's my feature, man? I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm 6-1-1. I said, you're what? He said, yeah. He goes, I haven't lost since I talked to you. I was beside myself.
I mean, did he well, to be fair, I don't think there's any way he could have come up and told you because...
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty busy.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool deck. And I truly believe that deck is wildly underrated. For reference, in round 9, he played against... Let me just get it pulled up here.
One in Kashtira?
Miguel Soto.
Okay.
On the feature match. Now, Miguel Soto is a world's competitor.
Yeah.
And he's on Sprite. He's on Sprite Tri-Brigade.
Okay.
And he beat him with Fur Hire.
Which is memeable.
It's so crazy, dude. I don't know. It's just... It's such a cool deck. I can't believe we haven't seen more about this deck. All right, so let's go through round by round. Let's talk about your regional.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, my round 1, I took notes because I knew I was going to forget if I did not take notes. So, my round 1 was versus Flu. I won this die roll. Game 1, I didn't see quite enough engine. I saw a Welcome Labyrinth, and that was about it.
Sure.
And then as soon as... And they just had the out. As soon as I activated Welcome Labyrinth, they ashed it.
Right.
And I just got blown out.
Okay.
Game 2, I go first. I set some back row and pass evenly.
Okay.
Okay, so I flip some trap cards, set up what I can. He's not able to kill me, but I'm able through that to kind of reconstitute some of my traps. Also because I drew 2 once per turn traps, so I had one in my hand. Set those, pass. Harpy's Feather Duster.
All right.
And I just could not get going between an evenly and a Feather Duster back to back like that.
Yeah.
No trap deck can. It's
pretty rough.
Yeah. My round 2 was against Brandon. Game 1, I just completely I just flipped Skill Drain. And all of his all the normal fusion, all the fusions you normally go into were smaller than Lady and Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he's able to position himself in a way where he could actually make Guardian Chimera. Made with polymerization, so it got its effect off, but Skill Drain. But he still had a 33 body on board.
Nice.
And he swung, and it was like, and I could tell he was probably thinking, okay, this is kind of swung back in my favor now.
Yeah.
And I just went effective Big Welcome Engrave, banish it, bounce it back to the extra deck. Yeah. Game 2, I flipped my Spice Tech for this tournament, which was Anti-Spell.
Yeah.
And then he sets, and so then I don't know why he made me go first for some reason. I guess to kind of mess up with my sighting,
Yeah.
but I still just sighted anti-spells because whatever. So I just set anti-spell a couple back row past, and then he set some pass, and during his end phase, I just kind of, utilizing Lovely, I just kind of started ripping apart his field.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I hit all of his spells. It was great. And he just couldn't play. So that was round 2. Round 3. So it's at this point I'm 1-1.
Yeah.
Round 3 was against Drytron. Game 1, we both kind of grinded each other out.
Mm-hmm.
But he was able to push out a Burl Sword and attack for game. It's Burl Sword. What do you do? The next game, I'm going first. I said anti-spell, some other back row pass. He goes, draw, standby, and I flip anti-spell, and he goes, let's just go game 3.
Oof.
That's it. All it is, flip anti-spell. He's like, nope, I'm good. And then game 3, didn't see anti-spell this time, unfortunately. And I wasn't able to stop him from going full board. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to break his board, but then he was able to make a comeback with a new ritual monster. I think it was like Odd Eyes. I think it was like an Odd Eyes ritual. I don't remember what it was, but it bounced all my spell traps, and I couldn't respond to any of my spell traps with it.
Naturally.
So what I was able to do though, was because he searched it and I saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever you activate the ritual spell, I activated Big Welcome, because I already had a lady on field, to summon Lovely, bounce, it came down. Its effect activated, Lovely's effect activated. And he was like, but you can't respond to it. And I was like, I'm not. It's a trigger effect, triggering because a monster's moved from the field.
Wait, you can't respond to what?
Okay, so the ritual he had summoned had an effect that when it's successfully ritual summoned, it bounces all spell traps, and I can't respond to it.
Okay.
But because I summoned Lady, her effect was just triggering. It wasn't responding to it, it was just triggering. A judge was called on this, and they said, yeah, it's not triggering like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then I just went, cool. Chain a trap chain like the one... I think the camera just turned off. Sorry about that, folks.
Saying sorry about that. This is gonna get cut out.
No, I mean when we come back in.
No. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone.
Yeah, we got a new camera. Growing pains with the camera.
Yeah.
So the judge did say that because it's a triggering effect, not responding, that's just firing off, not responding to the...
What? Wait, what was the matchup again?
Drytron. It was like some weird ritual, I think it was like an Odd Eyes ritual monster that just was supposed to bounce on my back row.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it was an Odd Eyes ritual monster?
Yes. I think. Because he was running a couple of rituals that I had never even seen before. Like he wasn't even running Heralds. Herald of any Herald at all.
That's so baffling to me because
I know, right?
Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon?
No, it was just like a full, not a ritual pendulum, it was just a ritual.
But it was definitely an Odd Eyes. Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon?
Maybe. Read its effect.
You can return all spell and trap cards your opponent controls to the hand.
That's it.
Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation.
Yeah. But according to the judge, because my Lovely was triggering off of I wasn't responding to the Odd Eyes, its effect was just firing off because of its normal conditions, it would still go. But then the gravity would go as Chain Link 1, Lovely as Chain Link 2.
But that doesn't make sense.
I know.
I think that judge gave you a bogus ruling.
Very possibly.
That literally doesn't make any sense. It goes against the entire
point of a spell speed 4 card like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah. And he didn't. What's the word?
Appeal.
Yeah, he didn't appeal. Whatever. So then I was like, well, I can just do this then. And I flipped
One of your trap cards.
one of my trap cards. It was punishment. Popped it, got a draw.
That is actually an insane thing.
Yeah.
So, wait. Okay, I'm really having trouble.
So am I.
So
So did I
he
at the
summons
moment.
this monster and activates this monster's effect.
Yeah.
And how did you trigger Lady?
Okay. So he activated. So he had searched it off of prep or pre-prep. I don't remember. He had searched the gravity dragon.
Sure.
I was like, hey, can I read that? And I was like, okay, cool. And then he activated the Drytron ritual spell.
Mm-hmm.
In response to the ritual spell, I activated Big Welcome.
Okay.
And I already had a lady on field. So summon Lovely, lady gets bounced, ritual resolves.
I'm in lovely. Lady gets bounced. Okay.
New chain, that fires off. Lady fires off because it saw my Lovely fires off because it saw my lady get bounced off the field by a trap card.
Dude, that's such an insane thing. If I was a judge, I would say that it can't respond.
Yeah. And the judge was like, yeah, but it's not responding to it. But I'm like, but that normally just means you can't chain. Nothing can be added onto that chain link after that.
That's an insane ruling.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Anyway, and because of that, but like even then, I still wasn't able to get the game, even with that.
Okay.
Yeah, he still got me. But it just took an extra couple of turns.
Yeah.
And then next up was trap-trix. All their extract monsters are immune to trap cards.
Okay.
So I essentially just had to use all of my trap cards on their main deck monsters to actually try and get rid of them.
Yeah.
I even flipped the skill drain, and he just went, okay. And popped it with something. I don't remember what he popped it with. But there was a trap card, whole trap card, I think he popped it. No, not a whole trap card.
Wasn't trap-trix trap hole nightmare?
No.
Wasn't
Maybe it was Holtea?
trap-trix Holotea? I think Holotea just summons itself.
But yeah, then it's got like another effect attached, not attached to that, but it's got like another effect as part of it though.
Does it?
Yeah.
No.
No? I don't remember. He popped it and was then able to just kind of go off. Another issue is that if you don't negate Sarah and you're on a trap deck, you're gonna have a bad time. If you can't negate Sarah and you're a trap deck, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad matchup.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So it is what it is. And like, you can't even out Sarah with one of your own traps because she's immune to traps.
Right, right.
So I lost that one. It was a close game. It was very back and forth, but
Yeah.
let's see. And then it was the lunch break. So I went in around 5 hungry because I wasn't able to get my food in time. But it was up against Sword Soul. So I had a lot of practices with this. I was like, okay, I guess I can kind of coast on this a little bit because I'm starving.
This dude said I can coast.
Because I already know how to
Play the matchup.
play the matchup. And then he like summons Dragite.
Sure.
And I'm like, huh? And I'm staring at it. And I go, first off, you can't summon Dragite because it's not a worm and you worm lock yourself with a Shuna. Secondly, Dragite? and after I 2-0'd him in like 10 minutes.
No, you didn't 2-0 him in 10 minutes.
Okay, it was more like 15 or 20. It was quick.
Okay. A trap deck's not 2-0ing anything in 10 minutes. Continue.
Yeah. Labyrinth can because I can pump out 3k beat sticks.
Continue.
So after the game, I 2-0 him, and after I'm like, bro, I gotta see what's going on. What's with the Raptide?
Dragite.
Dragite. They haven't played that in
A long time.
yeah. And I was looking at, so he like showed me his deck, and I was like, dude, this is a really old build. Yeah, well, my friends told me that Ancient Fairy's a bad card, and I was like, did they say the same thing about Destrudo? And they're like, yeah.
Okay, the context here is that Caleb's been playing against my build, and I run 3 Destrudo and Ancient Fairy.
Ancient Fairy's broken.
Yeah, Ancient Fairy's insane. So, and not, you know what's funny is the more Sword Soul players I talk to, the less and less of them were running Destrudo and AFD.
Yeah.
Basically, none of them were, which is
Yeah.
insane.
And like his whole thing was, and I kind of get what they're saying with it being bad because what field spell you're popping. I'm like, you're not popping field spells with it.
People forget that Ancient Fairy has another effect.
Yeah, because it lets you summon a special summon a level 4 monster, level 4 lower monster from your hand, and then you skip your battle phase.
Yeah.
If you're turn 0, you don't get a battle phase anyway.
Right, exactly.
It's broken. It's just
I've been saying that.
yeah. And even then you could also utilize Destrudo to make a lot of things.
Right.
On top of, it was bizarre. And he made Baron once, but I then just flipped a trap card and he had to either let it go
Or lose the Baron.
Yeah, he had to like just let his Baron negate go or lose the Baron. And he opted to negate. And I just went, awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's the choice you have.
Yeah, and I just went, cool. I activate another trap card and just start ripping his field apart except the Baron.
Right.
And then eventually I went, big welcome, summon a lady, bounce a lady, because I had lady and lovely already on field. So then I summoned a lady, bounced the one that was already on field, and then pop the non-targeting pop the Baron.
Right.
Before he really had a chance to activate its effect to pop anything. It was funny.
So then you finally get to eat your food.
Yeah, and then with time left after all of that, I scarfed down my food, went down to like one of the bag salesmen that are like in the middle, and got my girlfriend a really cute bag, haggled for it, got back in there with like 10 minutes left in round.
Yeah.
It was a good round.
Yeah.
Next round, I was incredibly bored because my opponent no-showed, but so did the guy next to me.
Okay.
So me and him dueling just for funsies. He was playing cash.
Yeah.
Just a really long game, just because we're both bored and had to sit here and wait.
Yeah.
Hilariously, my next round was Kashtira again.
So it's like you got a warm-up primer, and then you got to play it.
Yep. It was great. I lost.
Oof.
Game 1, I saw literally no engine.
Yeah.
And then game 2, it was just back and forth. Big swing plays back and forth. And eventually, I finally got him to have no more resources left.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Lovely and Lady on field, and I ran over his last 2 monsters. Pass.
Right.
At this point, his birth is already negated by because he had summoned a Fenrir, and I activated because he had birth on field, and he summoned a Fenrir no, it was Scareclaw. It was Tearlament Scareclaw.
Mm-hmm.
And I flipped Punishment, sending Aggregator.
Yeah.
And permanently negated his birth. As long as it's based on the field, it's negated. And he was like, oh no.
Oh no.
That's worse than it being popped, because if it's popped, he can recur it.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just kind of kept him from letting him search for another one. So he had to just hard draw into his second one, which I know he had a second one because I saw it in the previous game. And then it was finally, and I passed with no. He had an empty field, 1 card in hand, and I already knew what it was. I don't remember what it was though. And then he drew for turn, and was attempting to make plays, and then time in the round got called.
Mm-hmm.
And he had more life points.
Yeah.
I had on my field Lady, Lovely,
Mm-hmm.
and it had another lady in hand.
Yeah.
He had 6,000 life points.
Jeez.
Had he passed, I would have won that game. And then, because then if we had more time anyway, I would have just gone to battle, swing, game.
Yeah.
Well, in phase special, my turn, attack, swing for game.
Yeah.
But then time in the round, he had more life points. I lose.
Right.
I was just kind of like, it'd be what it be. Whatever. Still, probably one of the best games I had all day.
Mm-hmm.
Just because how it was just back and forth.
Yeah. Just very fun.
So I lose there. My next round was against Tri-Brigade Lurlusk.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I knew exactly how the deck functioned. And he didn't really get to play.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, he at one point he had, what was it? It was late in game 2. Like not late, but like turn 3 or 4 in game 2, where he had already attempted like a Lurlusk play, and I got rid of the Lurlusk monster he had on field. And then I overrooted it back, set it back to his field
Yeah.
because I didn't want him to have anything else.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Can I just flip some of this?" I was like, "Yeah, nothing stopping you. It's already been there for like a full turn." He flip summons it and then does the one that like specials from hand plus another winged beast.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 Leerlusk and a Nerval,
Mm-hmm.
and I flip Rivalry. And he's like, "What's that do?" And I explained that both players can only control one type of monster, and he kind of looks and goes, "Oh, they're all winged beasts." I was like, "Yeah."
So what if he summoned another bird and went into Shurag and banished it?
If he summons another bird, I have a compulse in all my set to my field.
Okay.
So so all the bird. So at this point, there's one that specials if you have no monsters on board.
Yeah.
So he can normal summon it, and I just bounce it. It can't summon itself at this point.
Yeah.
None of the other ones can special summon themselves out of the hand.
Okay.
So even if he just normal summons another Leerlusk, I just bounce it back, and he can't do anything. He can make Recital Starling to search, or he can make an Assemble Nightingale. So he makes a Starling, and I just go. I just compulse that.
Yeah.
And he's left with a Nerval pass. And I go, and I'm just like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to really get him, and really clinch it. So what I end up doing is what was it? I end up like popping the Nerval during his end phase. Yeah, he gets the search, but I'm going for game, and I would much rather it just not be on board because it was in defense mode.
Yeah.
So I pop it. He's like, "Oh, cool, I get my search." I was like, "Yeah, go for it." "Oh, I'm also free of rival." I'm like, "Yes, you are." Draw. And like I activated welcome, swing for game.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh."
Oof.
Yeah.
All right. What's next round?
Okay, next round was another no-show.
Okay. So it's round 8 or 9.
That was round 9, no-show.
Okay.
Round 10, Eldritch, pure Eldritch.
And?
I did win, but mostly because I already knew kind of what Eldritch did, and his opening hand game 1 was Tikaboo and Gozen.
Okay.
Both cards. Tikaboo was kind of rough, but he did make one mistake because he really didn't understand how Labyrinth works. So he sets like 4 cards and passes, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And I end up just kind of grinding through all of his traps using my traps, and end up activating Big Welcome, and then Lovely Lady, blah blah blah, popping the last one, and it was Tikaboo. I'm like, why didn't you activate Tikaboo whenever I activated Big Welcome? Because I already had Lady on field.
Right.
It would have. I wouldn't be able to have summoned the other one. He goes, "Oh, I didn't know what Big Welcome did." I was like, "I told you what Big Welcome does."
Oh, it happens.
Yeah, he is in process. So I got that game, and then game 2, he makes the 35 Eldritch Golden Lord, and swings over Lady.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna need a quick refresher on this if you don't mind. And I read it, and went, cool, terrors.
Oof.
And switch the Golden Lords around. So now he had the 25 just sitting there.
Yeah.
And set, and he's like, oh no.
Oh no.
That's a good card. And I was like, it's a very good card. I love this card.
Terrors is a really underrated Yu-Gi-Oh card.
I love it so much.
Yeah, Terrors is funny though, because it's like, yeah, like it's weird because like it takes away a resource, but it really kind of almost doesn't.
Yeah. It's like very fair, but the thing is like, so let's say you're up against a deck that can, with a monster that can special summon themselves if they have no monsters on board or only names on board. If they summon one, search a new one, you terrors it and give them like another random set monster, they can no longer play.
Right. Pretty much, yeah.
Because they have a monster on board and it's not a name.
So,
or you can give them back. Another thing I would do sometimes with terrors is I'd give them a card that's a hard one's printer that they've already activated this turn.
Yeah.
Something else like hilarious I did against the cash player was he had activated terraforming search field spell, activate field spell, and terrorist gave him back terraforming.
Yeah.
Because the field spell is a once per turn. And I was like, I should do it again.
I'll do it again.
Activate, like he activates terraforming, gets the field spell, and tear the field spell away and give him back to terraforming again. I'm like, but I was like, I'm not gonna do that. That's just a waste. But the thought occurred to me, and I was like, that's funny.
So we do have. I do want to just kind of quickly go over the feature matches that we had and go through them one by one. Just see what the matchups were, what won, things like that.
Yeah.
So round one was David Flores on Naturia Runic versus he was playing a guy playing Despia.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that Naturia deck so thoroughly dismantled the Despia deck that I literally made the decision. I walked out, immediately went to a friend of mine. I was like, I need your Runic tips right now.
Oh my god.
And I literally got them. I picked up as much of the Runic deck and the Naturia stuff as I could. Literally immediately. It was the most thoroughly one-sided game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I may have ever seen. It was crazy. So you have Naturia Runic won that one.
Mm-hmm.
The next round was Sword Soul versus... I want to say Sword Soul was playing against... Kashtira.
Okay.
It was Sword Soul versus Kashtira. And Kashtira does end up winning that, but it was a pretty close game for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Next round was I want to say it was Bestial Dragon Link versus Marincess.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Bestial Dragon Link won, although it got into another one that got into a kind of a grindy game 3.
Yeah, which happens.
Yeah. Next we have our friend Clay versus our friend Patty.
Mm-hmm.
Clay was on trap-trix or I'm trying to remember exactly what he was on. I know Patty was on Kashtira and Clay was on Mathmech. That's what it was.
Oh, Mathmech. Really cool deck.
Yeah, and Patty was on Kashtira and Clay did end up winning the match with Mathmech.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta say though, dude, that last game, Patty bricks so hard. The hardest brick I may have ever seen in my entire life.
What, he draw like Driver, Dark Magician, Red Eyes?
May as well have been. He's playing Kashtira, but like...
Oh, that's fair.
He may as well have been.
Well, I mean, like, that kind of, like...
His opening turn was set 1 pass.
Oh my god.
In game 3. Yeah, it was bad. And then next round was a guy playing Mathmech again versus the one and only Bortle from Team Bortle YouTube. Cool. And Bortle was playing trap-trix.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that Bortle won that playing trap-trix.
All right. As one does.
Yeah. Then the next match we had was Sprite, Adventure Sprite, and then you had Michael Temez on, trying to remember exactly what Temez was on, Kashtira.
Is that dude playing on like the old school paper mat?
It's not paper. There was a rubber version of this mat.
Oh, it looks like the old school paper version.
The very, very original regional mat.
Really?
That's what this is, yes.
That's nice.
It's extremely nice, and they are very expensive.
Oh yeah, they probably only had like one run of them.
Yeah, they didn't have very much of them, and I believe that Temez won that with Kashtira.
Okay.
Next round, we had our friend Hunter versus Christian Garza. Hunter was playing trap-trix, and Christian was playing Kashtira, and Christian won that. So Kashtira won. And then the next round was Drytron versus Kashtira.
Mm-hmm. And
Kashtira did win that, but it was really close. And the Drytron guy did end up getting top 8.
Nice.
And so did the Kashtira guy. They ended up both top 8.
Oh.
And then next was our friend Khalil piloting the Fur Hire Runic deck versus Miguel Soto on Sprite Brigade. And the Fur Hire Runic deck did end up winning. And then last we have it was a Live Twin Sprite versus Kashtira, and Live Twin Sprite ended up winning. So overall, we're gonna drop a link to the VOD because you can actually watch the entire thing on the Game Guys regional
Twitch channel.
Twitch channel.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put a link to the VOD in the Discord. But yeah, overall, it was a great day. There was a lot of great feature matches. We ended up leaving the regional just a little after midnight. Got on the road, and I gotta say, that was one of the most miserable drives of my entire life.
Oh, easily.
I've been on a lot of really long, really rough drives. I mean, a lot. That may take the cake for the worst drive I've ever been on. We were driving back. We're just driving through Texas. I was so tired. And keep in mind that as of time of recording, this is not even 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
So we take
Actually,
off.
24 hours ago, we were still at the venue.
Yeah. So we take off just after midnight. We drive up. We drive almost. We get to the north side of Houston. We stopped and got Waffle House, and we get Waffle House, and after Waffle House, we made it just south of Lufkin, and I said, "Dude, I can't take it anymore." It was like 2:20 in the morning ish,
Yep.
2:00, and I pulled over, and I was like, "I gotta sleep." I literally pulled over in a gas station parking lot on the side of Highway 59, and I just conked out. I fell asleep, and we slept in that gas station parking lot for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, we'd been for like, what?
30 minutes.
Yeah.
The goal was a 30-minute power nap. We slept for an hour and a half.
Yep.
And then, so I sit up. I'm like, okay, I got to get back to driving. Throw it back in drive. Take off. We get just a little bit further up the road. I'm like, I got to go into the gas station and get something. I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Go in the gas station. I get a C4 energy drink.
Whoo!
And I get in the car. We're getting towards Lufkin. I'm drinking my C4. Starting to feel a little bit, a little bit more alert. I stretched when we got out at the gas station.
Yeah, it's got to be that.
Yeah, like maybe the stretches got me feeling a little pepped up.
Yeah.
By the time we're in Lufkin, I feel like a new man. I felt like a different person. I was like, man, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, felt like you just woke up from an 8-hour nap.
Yeah. I stretched a little bit. Caleb's awake now. Me and Caleb are talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m., but that's no problem. I'm good. And then it really happened. I got so hyper and wired up that, listen, I drink a lot of energy drinks, way more than I should. Like 1 to 2 a day. That C4 had me so wound up. I got home and didn't go directly to sleep. That's how wired up I was. It took me almost an hour after I got home to go to sleep. I fell asleep after 7 a.m.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Bro, I got home late in bed, and I was kind of laying in bed chilling for about 10 minutes, and then I was out.
Yeah. I went to bed after 7 a.m. or right around 7. We got home at like 6:15-ish, or we got to my house at 6:15.
Yeah.
I fell asleep after 7. And then I woke up at 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I woke up at like 1.
Yeah, well, I first woke up at like, I don't know, 10:30.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Nah, going back.
I literally rolled over and immediately fell back asleep. And then I was like, I'll wake up around noon, I guess. And then I didn't open my eyes again until 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a long time for me.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, I did actually also keep tallies of how many times I got Evenlead or Harpy's Feather Dustered.
Okay, sure.
I got Harpy's Feather Dustered 3 times.
Uh-huh.
I was Evenlead 9.
Dude, Evenly Matched is the most prevalent card in the entire format right now.
Fun fact. Of those 9, only 6 landed.
I mean,
I
hey.
dodged 3. 2 of them were through Eradicator, me just welcome Labyrinthing out, and then just Eradicator declared trap still in the battle phase.
Yeah.
And so they never got a chance to activate it. The third, hilariously, was my opponent went stand by main battle, and I was like, in the battle phase, I'll activate Big Welcome.
Sure.
Because he only had 2 cards in hand. Summon Lovely, Bounce Lady, Effect a Lovely, rip a card out of his hand, and it was a 50-50 shot.
Nailed it.
And I nailed it. He was like,
nice.
He's like, come on. hilariously, it was against the Eldritch player.
Mm-hmm.
It was the second time I had dodged an evenly from him.
Nice.
The first time I had eradicated him for
like 3 or 4.
like most of his hand.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, we want to thank you all for listening to today's episode. You're definitely going to want to check out Friday's episode. I think it's going to be a really cool one. We're going to be having one of our friends and one of a very good player that we know come on to the podcast. He's actually going to be in person here with us. So we absolutely recommend you subscribe to our YouTube if you aren't already. That way you can get that. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and thank all of our wonderful patrons. So a huge thank you to AD in HD, Cam Yang, Dragonmaid Stunzeed, Kane Martin, Zyphorus, Blackwing, Silverwing the Ascendant is the best Floodgate, Earth Machine, best deck, Epi, has anyone actually read Toy Vendor, HGH Cyber, I am McLincoln, if all you have is a Cosmic, every problem looks like a Floodgate. It's funny to watch a Kashtira player scoop after flipping a Floodgate. True. Monstratron, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Unbanned number 95 Konami, understanding and reading are two different things. Virtually Savior's World, Where Flame Swordsman support Konami, Rogue and Tier 2 of the polite terms for bad deck, Aaron Gardner, Asami, Ashless Chaps, Atsuyo, Simp of the Silver Castle, Boxwine, Duty Booty, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, Heroes, Bubble Cereal, I'm about to Rika, Glamour, Tribute for Frosties, Plant Nuts in Your Mouth, Cam, the Hockey Walkie Slush Mixer, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Santa Claus, and Valence, Hojo Mama, and XBiz Kits. Thank you so much for your continued support of the podcast. Thank you all again, and be sure to have a great week, everybody.
Take care, everyone.